may go forward this fall.
Straight ahead on What's New, they can play. Governor DeWine gives a green light for high school sports. We'll tell you who can be there to watch. Plus, should fall sports move to spring because of the coronavirus? Your chance to weigh in.
DNC Day 2. Who you'll hear from tonight as the president reacts to last night's heavy hitters. And DIY charcuterie, how to make the beautiful boards you see on Instagram. Plus, what's new when it comes to serving them during a pandemic.
There's always one person that we can rely on, and Donna is her name.
And I absolutely love this, a song for Donna. Mike Polk Jr. asked for special inspiration, and she delivered. A very special song about a very special viewer. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hello again, Northeast Ohio, and welcome to our Tuesday edition of What's New. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're having a great Tuesday at home. I'm Jay Crawford.
And I'm Betsy Kling. We're all here in the studio once again. And, you know, there is plenty to talk about, Jay, because there has been so much back and forth with anything to do with kids and school and sports. But today, maybe some clarity.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit, or at least moving in that direction. We have options. Our big story today, high school fall sports are a go if schools want to move forward. Governor Mike DeWine making that announcement just a few hours ago, but also saying that if schools want to postpone fall sports until the spring, that too is an option.
And we have team coverage for your favorite team sports. Brandon Simmons talked to coaches about the announcement. But first, our Laura Queso has all the details on what's new. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Betsy. You're certainly right. A big announcement from the governor today. So many of you at home have been waiting for this. Well, the order provides that all sports, contact and non-contact, can move forward this fall. This was not an easy decision, though. The governor says we know that contact sports can contribute to the spread of COVID-19, but we also know that sports matter and make a difference in the lives of kids, from structure to discipline and well beyond that, too. The governor acknowledges that several school districts, particularly in urban areas of the state, have postponed all fall sports because of concerns about COVID. But DeWine said today those districts will have the option to play their seasons in the spring. That's part of the order. In addition, the governor mentioned that there will not be fans at events outside of family members.
We stand ready, quite candidly, if this goes the wrong way, to shut it all down. But I looked at this as a very close call. And I listened to what many parents have told me about the problems connected with their child being out of school.
Now, the governor said the Ohio High School Athletic Association and local health departments will have site inspections to make sure teams are following health guidelines. If rules are not followed, it could disqualify teams from individual games or possibly, Betsy, an entire season.
Definitely a lot riding on this for a lot of students who are looking for scholarships and whatnot. So it's a big deal. We appreciate the in-depth coverage. Thanks, Laura.
Sure.
Jay?
Well, Betsy, now on to our feed at 5, and we want to know what you think about all of this. When should fall contact sports be played? Fall, as usual, or should they be pushed to the spring? You can tell us by heading over to WKYC.com/vote now. And while you vote, let's bring in Brandon Simmons. Brandon, I know you talked to some high school coaches today. What are they saying?
Yeah, one thing I can say is the governor has found a way to sort of signal what he's thinking before making these big announcements, allowing time for people to weigh in. And this was no different. Much of what I heard today was expected, and the coaches expected it too. Now, the governor spoke to coaches and superintendents before making this announcement. And the key word I've heard a lot today is flexibility. Schools can move forward if they want to, only if they feel that it's safe to do so. And if now is not the right time, they also have that option, as Laura said, to hold off until later in the year, even going into spring. Now, in Avon, they already have a 6-game season planned within their league, and head coach Mike Elder says he's happy to be able to move forward knowing the state's position.
I think our community's really supported our plan, and hearing what the governor just said now, he's kind of leaving it up to individual local districts and communities to make their own decisions. And I think that's wise in a lot of ways because everybody's reality is slightly different.
Now, Avon is in Lorain County, back in Cuyahoga County, where the health department recommended schools hold off on extracurricular activities. Parma schools led a petition to allow fall sports to be played in spring if schools decide that's what's best for them. Now, the governor confirmed that option is indeed available. Again, flexibility being emphasized by the governor, knowing that schools are likely the best suited to make these decisions for their students. That also allows for, I think, the most people to remain happy in what the decision is. A blanket decision one way or another, Jay, obviously could have left a lot of people angry.
This certainly gives schools options, and I know that's what many people were looking for. By the way, you're telling us right now 2 in 3, almost 2 in 3, say that they think spring is the safer option. Brandon Simmons, thank you so much for the information. We appreciate it.
Well, from the playing field to the classroom, as we enter this new phase of schooling, each district is handling it differently. North Ridgeville is taking a hybrid approach this year. Our Tiffany Tarpley got a first look inside with what the district is doing to keep students, staff, and teachers safe.
And it is the first day of school here in North Ridgeville, but for teachers. And they are excited to get back into the classroom. Training for teachers is happening as they prepare for a new way of educating students. Today we got a chance to tour the building that will be used for most students when it comes to in-person instruction, which begins next week. There will also be rooms set up similar to this one to allow teachers to instruct online and in person at the same time. While some teachers and students have chosen the virtual-only option, here's how the hybrid model will work in North Ridgeville. Elementary and middle school age children will learn online 3 days a week and in person 2. Where students live, familial groups and parent requests are used to determine schedules. For high school students, they will be learning in the classroom 1 day each week.
We're fortunate in that we can put 6 feet of distance between our students in our classrooms, which is something that a lot of places can't do. And then we felt it gave us the best of both worlds so that if we do get to a point where things get worse later on and we do have to shut down, the students are already in that mode of online learning as well.
And district leaders here in North Ridgeville say they will be adjusting the plans up until the first day of school if they need to, and also during the school year as they deal with this pandemic. In Lorain County, Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
So, Jay, the whole thing, you know, as a mom with 2 school kids, one going into 6th grade, one just going into kindergarten, and we're really excited about kindergarten. But, you know, it's been such a summer of questions and back and forth and no answers. And it's like literally here in the last 4 or 5 days until school starts, now it's like all this information is coming at us really fast. So it's hard to keep up. But the bottom line is don't be afraid to ask questions to your school districts and just go with the flow.
Absolutely. And even if you are going back to school, you have to understand that the big story now nationally is the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill went back to in-person learning, and quickly, within a week, 4 different clusters, more than 100 positive tests. Now they're going completely online. So that option always exists. If you start to see a breakout of cases, I'm certain that that's going to happen here locally as well.
They have planned those contingencies already. It's just a matter of when they'll be enacted.
I think the most important word during all of this is flexibility.
Ugh.
Man, if we had to
not
be
easy.
flexible. No, it's not.
I want answers now.
We all want structure and we want routine, and that's been very tough. Okay, in the meantime, here's our latest coronavirus data from the state of Ohio. 861 new cases were reported. That's up 86 from yesterday, but still more than 250 cases below our 21-day average. Also, the trend of a shrinking positivity rate continues, although it did tick up slightly to 3.8% from 3.7% yesterday. It still remains well below our 7 and 21-day averages. And it's also well below the WHO's recommended threshold, which is at 5%. Hospitalizations went up by 1. We now have 934 patients statewide in hospitals that are being treated for COVID-19. Deaths jumped big from yesterday. We had just 6 reported yesterday. That number went all the way up to 39, an increase of 33 in the most recent report. Betsy?
Keep in mind that doesn't mean that 33 people passed away yesterday.
Absolutely.
That's when the reports just came in. All right, it is Tech Tuesday, and this year back to school shopping looks a lot different. You still have to buy all the stuff, But how you're going to use it, totally different this year. So we found some gadgets that you may not have thought about to help your child and your family succeed. First, let's start with a Wi-Fi booster. With parents also working from home, chances are you're going to need this. You only get so much bandwidth. Think computer.org's top choice is the TP-Link RE450. The adapter plugs right into the wall. It matches the original network strength, and you can also plug a device directly into the gadget if you want. Remember, that is a Wi-Fi booster, so that takes a signal coming in and makes it stronger throughout your house. All right, now let's talk about battery life. Oh, battery life. Between computers and tablets and phones, our houses are going to become charging stations. And we know kids, they're gonna forget to charge their gadgets. So you may want to invest in a fast battery charging pack. There's a ton of them on the market, but again, here we go. We have this suggestion with the OtterBox dual port wall all-in-one charger as one of the top picks. It costs about $25 or so. It plugs into the wall. It has a spot for 2 USB cords. So you plug it into the wall, charge it up, and then 2 different devices can charge from it. The Anchor Power Cord charging pack is portable. It costs $30. That is definitely another option for you. And you know, the bottom line here is power, 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 power. I keep everything plugged in, but the one thing we haven't talked about are the plug adapters that will take one plug and change it into 4 USB ports. Now, keep in mind that that doesn't mean these are fast charges. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
you're
they're not,
sharing that
right.
power, but certainly something to keep in mind.
I've used all 3 of those items, and I can speak for all 3. They're all fabulous, particularly the Wi-Fi booster throughout the house. You know, one end of the house, the signal may tend to fade a little bit,
Right.
but the booster does a super job, sends the signal strong throughout your house.
Great.
It works. Okay, time right now to check in with Russ Mitchell. He's got a look at some of the other day's big stories making headlines. Russ, it's another important night for the Democrats at the virtual DNC.
The virtual DNC, you are correct, Jay. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you at home. A host of high-profile Democrats set to speak virtually tonight during the second night of the Democratic National Convention. On tap this evening, former President Bill Clinton and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The headliner of the night will be Dr. Jill Biden, the wife of the presumptive nominee. Former First Lady Michelle Obama was last night's keynote speaker.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head.
In response, President Trump tweeted that he would not be in the White House, he believes, if it were not for the job her husband did. He also called her speech extremely divisive. DNC coverage begins at 10 o'clock here on Channel 3 and at 9 o'clock on the WKYC app and at our website. And President Trump is pardoning women's suffrage leader Susan B. Anthony on this, the 100th anniversary of the enactment of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. Anthony was arrested back in 1872 for voting because at that time, only men were allowed to vote. She also refused to pay the fine after she was convicted. The U.S. is, 246 years old. Women have only had the right to vote for 100 years. So that kind of puts it all in perspective.
Russ, even after she was arrested, women didn't have the right to vote for nearly 50 years.
Yeah, that's right. And also read today that Susan B. Anthony probably would not have wanted to have been pardoned because she wanted to go down in history as somebody who broke the law for a good cause.
Well, she still goes down in history as a boss. Walked in there, cast her vote, and went home. Very great story. All right, Russ, thank you so much. Ahead on What's New, Betsy, this is a great story. A few weeks back, we asked viewers to nominate a special person to be the subject of a Mike Polk original song. We're going to see how that song turned out and who he sends his first viewer appreciation song out to. That's coming up next.
And we haven't heard much from the Cavaliers lately, but that doesn't mean they aren't looking forward to the future. And there's one hot topic, Tristan Thompson. We get Kevin Love's take in Clicking in Cleveland.
And Matt Wentz standing by with a look at our first forecast. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Jay. It is just picture perfect outside. What a day on the job, right? But this won't last forever. We all know that across Northeast Ohio. When do we see weather changes? I've got them in the 7-day forecast coming up. Oh, you know.
Welcome back to What's New. For those of you that have followed the career of our very own and very talented Mike Polk, you know that he can do it all. Of course, he's a terrific feature reporter for us here at 3 News. He's also a stand-up comic, very funny, and a talented songwriter. Well, he recently made an offer to write and record an original song for one lucky viewer. That lucky viewer's name is Donna. And now, without further ado, the world premiere of the Mike Polk original. Thank you, Donna.
A few weeks ago, I was feeling pretty blah about the state of the world, as many people seem to be. That's why I decided to offer this service.
I'm hereby calling for submissions for people who might need cheered up.
It turned out a lot of people wanted me to make a bad song to cheer somebody up. But in the end, the choice was clear. Matt and his fiancée Pam had nominated Matt's fabulous mom, Donna, whom they thought might benefit from a little musical tomfoolery.
Just was diagnosed with early time dementia. Literally just had to move her out of her house and put her into a nursing home.
Sorry, you guys are going through it. You really think that this might cheer your mother up? I mean, I'm not a very good musician.
I really believe that she's gonna enjoy it, absolutely.
Donna was clearly the correct choice. Now I just needed to learn a little bit more about her so I could personalize her song.
What kind of style of music does your mother like?
She loves like a Barbara Streisand.
I could stretch my range a little bit, I guess. What else is she into? What does she enjoy doing?
Reading, walking. She used to enjoy literally cleaning the house.
Movies, is there anything that she dug?
Lifetime.
Back off. Back off. You haven't got any friends here.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. We're gonna try and do her justice.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
It was now time to compose the song, which proved to be a grueling 20-minute process.
See, luckily, Matt said that she prefers 50s style music, which is good for someone who knows 4 chords, because there were really only 4 chords used in the 50s.
It was now time to head to my state-of-the-art in-home recording studio at Chateau Polk so I could lay down the heat.
I think we nailed it.
So, Donna, here it is, the big reveal. Your own song that I hope will make you smile. I did what I could.
Oh, Donna. Oh, Donna, oh, Donna. In these times so uncertain and strange, there's always one person that we can rely on, and Donna is her name. You like watching movies on Lifetime and music by Barbra Streisand. You like talking and reading and laughing and cleaning and going on walks with your friends. Oh, Donna, you're loved by so many. You're wise and you're kind and you're true. You're a mother, a teacher, a mentor, a friend. And Donna, we're thankful for you. Yes, Donna, we're thankful for you.
This is Grammy-eligible artist Mike Polk for 3 News.
Oh my goodness, Mike, you nailed it.
I think he did. I don't think he left anything out. Very straight to the point, pure.
Yes, very from the heart.
Very.
What I love about that was it's comedy gold. It's very funny. And it is so sweet, too. I can only imagine right now that Donna and her family are watching that with a smile ear to ear.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right?
That's fantastic.
Is he doing any more of these?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a thing. It's a viewer appreciation song. And here's the deal. Tell us why Mike should write his next song about someone that you know. And here's how you do it.
Or yourself.
216-344-3300. That's a text. 216-344-3300. You can also tweet us. Use the hashtag #BeyondThree.
Beyond3.
And, you know, sort of state your case, why this would be a good idea to write a song about a loved one in your life, or as you said, yourself.
And 4 chords can go a long way. You can mix them up so it won't sound the same.
It's beautiful.
It was a good thing.
It really was.
Tell you what, you know what else was a good thing today is the weather. Man, it was perfection.
Gorgeous.
Low humidity, cool temperatures, lots of sunshine. Matt Wentz, I say, thank you, my friend.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Yeah, you too, Betsy. I'll tell you, I can't take all the credit for this one. Hey, guys, is it a good idea to give out my cell phone number for that Mike Polk thing? I'm going to have so many people texting me. I told the boss to stop doing that. That's not funny.
You don't have to answer everybody.
I didn't know that was his text number, but...
Somebody's got to answer the phone.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, you can weed him out and send the winner to Mike, and he'll write a song. Oh, we have a word for you today. I think this is fitting.
Okay.
Anticipation. We're all waiting, Matt.
Oh, geez.
We're all waiting.
Yeah, if we could stick to below 3 syllables, that'd be great, but that's totally fine. We'll fit that in. And if you guys, while you fall asleep during my weather forecast, if you go talk to the boss about that text number, because that is not going to be fun, especially when the new baby comes out. All right, temperatures outside, as Betsy mentioned, are just picture perfect. We've got low 70s near the lakeshore. We've got mid and upper 70s down to the south. All of us enjoying a refreshing breeze. We promised it would be here. It just took a little bit of time. And boy, it is really working in this evening on that north wind, gusting upwards of 20 miles per hour at times. That will start to east tonight. And look at the dew points, friends. Dew points in the 40s and low 50s is air you can barely feel as you head on out. And we're not alone in that department. All the Great Lakes enjoying the drier air. And again, that will continue over the next couple days. We had a couple stray showers out in Geauga and Ashtabula counties this morning. Those have since faded, and we're bringing in clear skies as that drier air continues to erode some of those showers down towards the south. So over the last couple days, we've been in anticipation of this air mass, but boy, do we have it now, and it's going to be here over the next couple days. But what goes up must come down, and out towards the west, there is some soaring heat. They are setting all sorts of records. Yeah, it's hot in the desert southwest, but this is way above average. And because of that, there's a big old ridge, and that ridge goes down in the east, but that heat has to move east at some point. And right now we're targeting next week at this point. But until then, enjoy the comfortable air. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast temps tonight. Look at that, 11 o'clock as you're curling up for What's Next with Russ Mitchell. Oh man, temps in the 50s already. Tomorrow morning will be in the low 50s as you get away from the lake. A very comfortable windows open kind of morning. And then by midday and afternoon, we're still dealing with sunshine and a beautiful stretch of weather. But we're going to warm up as we go into the latter half of the week. We're talking 80s by Friday, and that comes with some humidity by Saturday. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Our next real chance of rain arriving Friday. That'll be isolated. Same thing on Saturday and Sunday. And then next week, we're talking heat. We're back with Clicking in Cleveland after this.
Yeah.
Is Meg there? Meg, can you hear me?
It's time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and we've just learned that our friend Terry Francona will be out for a few games for a scheduled procedure, so we're going to be wishing him a speedy recovery. Jimmy will have more on that coming up tonight at 6 on What Matters Most. But right now, we're switching gears to the Cavs. We haven't heard from the Cavs in a while. So Stephanie Haney and Clicking in Cleveland, what has people clicking on the Cavs?
Well, Betsy, it is what Cleveland Cavaliers All-Star Kevin Love is saying about his teammate Tristan Thompson. Love wants Thompson to be a career Cavalier and tweeted today that re-signing him should be the team's #1 priority. Thompson started with the Cavs in 2011, but now he's about to become a free agent, and some say he's probably played his last game as a Cav. Having Love on your side, though, is a good thing going into negotiations. We will definitely be watching to see what happens there. Now, we all know it's Cleveland Burger Week, and we've been asking you to show us what you're getting. This photo comes from Nicole Lott. It's the pho burger from Ninja City, and she tells me it was tender with just enough of a spicy kick, and she plans to order it again. Keep showing us your Cleveland Burger Week burgers. Send a photo or a quick video to us using Near Me on the WKYC app, super easy to do, or text a picture to 216-344-3300, or post on social media using the hashtags #BeOn3 and Cleveland Burger Week. And looking ahead, we've got about a month left in summer, and we need to make the most of it, frankly. Here are just a couple things on your must-do Cleveland summer bucket list. We have an African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton. Yes, that's a water buffalo that you're looking at there. Also, Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo's Asian Lantern Festival has been extended for another month, so now you have until September 20th to go. And if you've never been stand-up paddleboarding before, Hinkley Lake in the Metro Parks is the perfect place to do it. I just went there a couple weeks ago. I can confirm it is lovely. Highly recommend it, Betsy. And you can see more things on WKYC.com for your summer bucket list.
To tackle that list, certainly. Thanks, Stephanie. And still ahead on What's New, friends, it is game on. Parents are reacting to Governor DeWine's announcement green-lighting fall contact sports. We'll share what they're saying.
And what's old is new again. Charcuterie boards. Betsy, they're making a comeback. And I have a couple right over here, individual charcuterie boards that we're going to share with you when What's New comes right back. Stay with us.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New. I know we've talked about it a couple times, Betsy, but today's weather was absolutely beautiful. For me, it was just an absolutely perfect day, and you really now can feel that transition from summer to fall. It's one of my favorite times of the year.
Don't get too excited about it.
It's not going to
Not so long. No. We do kind of ebb and flow this time of year. So the heat will be back. Don't you worry about that, certainly.
All right.
But there is plenty going on today other than just the forecast, because we have breaking news. It's our top talker today, Jay.
Yeah, this afternoon, Governor DeWine announced fall sports can go forward with their seasons, or if they choose, schools can push fall sports to the spring. We want to know what you think about this. We've been asking you to weigh in at our website, WKYC.com. So far, Betsy, 62% say move them to the spring.
Yep, I think there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, certainly, but more than 20 Cuyahoga County superintendents have signed a petition now asking the Ohio High School Athletic League to move fall sports to spring. That's kind of the big question. So the governor said today that schools can make that choice, but he didn't mandate it. So it's still kind of wishy-washy. The formal state order regarding sports is said to be released soon.
Again, our order provides what we hope is the best guidance to play sports as safely as that can be played in the era of COVID-19.
That order also includes a limit on spectators, and this is really going to hurt a lot of folks that love going to high school football games. Today, he said only family members and people close to an athlete that's participating will be allowed to attend fall sporting events. Governor DeWine's announcement drew a lot of reaction from parents and coaches. Our digital anchor Stephanie Haney joins us now for just a small sampling of that reaction that she was able to see on social media. Stephanie, I imagine people have strong feelings on both sides of this. What'd you find?
There's a lot of debate going on, Jay. People are debating the safety of fall sports, also the spectator limit, and whether this actually even requires an order. Twitter user Olivia wants to know what makes the governor think fall sports are safe for high schools, and she guesses the season gets called off after just one game because of COVID-19 spread. This person takes issue with any fans being allowed in the stands and says if pro players can't have fans, then high schools should just live stream the games. Mike Norman brings up an interesting point. He wants to know why we need an order to allow something, but says that he supports the end result and says kids are better off playing sports than not. He also thinks it makes sense to restrict attendance to family members. And high school soccer coach A.J. Atkinson admits that he might be biased, but he says that he appreciates DeWine allowing fall sports so that schools can make their own decisions, seeing as how the virus and its spread are impacting different parts of Ohio differently. Now, Atkins brings up a good point that we've talked about a few times here. A yes from DeWine is not the final word on this, just like with the guidance allowing fall sports by the OHSAA, because schools can opt out of sports or even move them to the spring, which is a big takeaway here, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that brings up a lot of issues. There are some star athletes that play football that also play baseball. They sadly will be forced to pick if their school is one that moves fall sports to spring. Not an ideal situation, and I'm sure it's all up in the air as we move forward. Stephanie, thank you very much. We appreciate that. One final look now at our results. It's basically held pretty steady, right around 60%. Right now, 61% of you believe that moving the fall sports to spring would be the better play here. Betsy?
Well, we have all been hearing that coronavirus vaccine will help us get out of the mess that we're in right now. But the issue? It's getting people to agree to get a vaccine. A new NBC SurveyMonkey tracking poll found less than half of Americans say they are willing to get a vaccine if one is approved by the government. Over 34,000 adults took that online survey. 44% said they would get the vaccine. 22% said they would not. Nearly a third said, we're not sure. The people most likely to get the vaccine were senior citizens, Asian Americans, people with college degrees, and Democrats. Now, I think this is very interesting because now we're kind of sneaking up into flu shot season, shingles season, pneumonia vaccine season. I mean, how many vaccines, are we going to get shot with here in the coming days? And I guess, do you rank them according to your risk?
I think it's an individual conversation between all of us and our physicians.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to leave it to my doctor. I'm going to ask him, what do you recommend that patients do? Right now, I would definitely be leaning towards taking the vaccine. I've seen a couple of studies on this one. I know this one said 44%. I saw one about a week ago that had 60% of Americans said that they would be willing to take the vaccine.
Right.
Look, we don't even know what the vaccine is.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any of the research because these phase 3 trials are still ongoing. Let them finish. Let the medical community look at the data and then suggest whether we take it or not.
I definitely think there's a difference between saying you're going to get the vaccine and being the first one in line. So
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, you can get the
But here's the
vaccine,
thing.
but I'm going to wait a little bit.
15,000 people would have already had the vaccine before it is ever allowed to be given in a non-trial situation to any Americans.
All right.
So we'll see.
Well, we do have a dose of something for you. A dose of good news. We call it Show Us Something Good, and today's comes from Lorraine. The police department posted this video of Officer Taylor racing with the kids while on patrol. Go, officer! Look at him!
He can move.
The caption read, "If you challenge Officer Taylor to a race, you might get dusted." I think he should get a ticket for speeding.
He gave everybody a head start,
that.
Betsy, which was the adult thing to do. He's racing children.
Right.
But then he didn't hold back. He passed a lot of kids. He was not taking it easy.
And I would have to ask the question, who had more fun with that?
Yeah, that is a
Kids
good
or
question.
the officer or the parents? Everybody win-win-win.
You know what it is, honestly? It's just great to see communities where the people that live there are having positive interaction with law enforcement.
Huge.
That's where we need to go in the future. I like that.
All
Great
right.
story.
But guess what? We all get to get excited now for a completely different reason. Will Smith and Kevin Hart are teaming up to remake the popular 80s movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. OMG. We have the details next in your pop break.
That first one was so good, but I think this one has a chance to be better. Love those guys. Hey, Matt, what's going on outside? Still perfect?
Hi, Jay. We talked about the forecast earlier, but I wanted to talk about the drought coming up in our next segment because we need the rainfall across Northeast Ohio. When are we going to get it? We'll discuss in detail coming up. Hey guys, how's your mom?
Well, we have new details on who was fired from the Ellen DeGeneres show. Plus, you just heard Betsy mention it, Kevin Hart and Will Smith teaming up to remake a very popular movie. Romney Smith has all the gossip in today's Pop Break.
3 major producers of The Ellen Show have parted ways from the daytime talk show following several weeks of investigations into claims of a, quote, toxic workplace culture. Ed Glavin, Jonathan Norman, and Kevin Lehman have been ousted as producers on the show. Variety magazine is reporting that Ellen herself delivered the news to more than 200 staff members via Zoom on Monday afternoon. Reports also say that Ellen broke down in tears, again apologizing to crew members during the meeting for any wrongdoings over the years. And last week, Kevin Hart was in the spotlight for defending Ellen, but this week he's making headlines for a new project. The Jumanji and Night School actor is reportedly starring in a new version of the classic John Hughes film, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, alongside friend and actor Will Smith. Somehow, the two have never done a film together, but we can only hope they were waiting for a project worth pairing up for. One thing for sure, there will be lots of laughs. And the Democratic National Convention kicked off last night, hosted by Eva Longoria Baston, with incredible performances from Leon Bridges, Maggie Rogers, and Billy Porter. The DNC tapped Tracy Ellis Ross, Kerry Washington, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus to host the next few nights of the convention online. Performances over the next few days include singers Billie Eilish, The Chicks, John Legend, and Jennifer Hudson. They are really pulling all the stops out this year.
Betsy, I don't know where you are on remakes. I typically don't love them. Rarely do they live up to or exceed the original, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, as good as it was with John Candy and Steve Martin, I think this version could be better because Kevin Hart and Will Smith, they're both just comedic genius.
It's the perfect pairing, I think. You know, just as John Candy and
Steve Martin. Yeah, they played off each other so well.
They played perfectly off each other, and I think Kevin Hart and Will Smith will too. They're just brilliant.
I agree.
Well, you know, things have been a little parched around here. We did get some rain yesterday, but Matt, you mentioned the drought word, so you have some new info you want to fill us in on with that.
Yeah, Betsy, we're going to put some numbers on it. You know, it's been hodgepodge. That's kind of what it is, hit or miss in terms of the summertime around here, where you get the heavy rain in one neighborhood, the next is just a parched ground. That seems to be the case in our neighborhood. Our yard's the parched one, but that's really how summertime goes. And so we want to put some numbers on it and let you know when we can expect really the next decent rainfall around here, if it is in the forecast. So let's start with tonight. We know it's beautiful outside. Temperatures generally in the 70s right now. We're going to fall back into the 60s pretty quickly. Remember, dry air heats up and cools down quickly, so we are going to see those temps drop after sunset. The Cleveland area back into the 60s tonight, close to the lake. Everyone else will be back into the 50s. You can see the clearing skies that we've had. And that will continue overnight tonight. Mainly clear and just beautiful as high pressure builds in. All the showers and clouds have just been stuck in the eastern half of the country over the last couple days, now heading out towards the east. But I mentioned what goes down, which is that eastern trough bringing us the cool air must come up. And we've got a big old ridge out towards the west, soaring heat out there. Eventually that will make a return. But in terms of rainfall, this is your summer rainfall since June 1st. Cleveland has a surplus. We're looking at the yellow number at the bottom of the screen. We've got a couple downpours that went right over Hopkins over the course of the summer, but you look at Akron, almost 4 inches below average, and Mansfield tracking almost 6 inches below average. This is getting to the point in spots where we're not going to be able to make it up in the terms of one system or two systems. It's going to take a pretty decent amount of rain to fix this. And you can see the drought across the area. The driest areas are in that kind of orangish tan shade from Wayne County. A lot of the farmers out there needing the rainfall, southern Ashland, areas of Richland County, and then it's advancing into the Akron-Canton area and down towards the south as you get into Stark County. The rest of us are dry where we're sitting pretty right now. Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County sitting pretty good. So let's take that forecast over the next 10 days. Remember, this is just a computer model showing what it thinks is going to happen. But you look at it and it's fairly dry. We'll be watching another southeastern system that brings some rain perhaps into the area over the course of the weekend. But by and large, there's no big weather system to bring a dousing of rain across the area. It's going to be more hit or miss showers and thunderstorms over the course of the next 7 days. And in terms of rainfall potential, this particular model thinking most of it heads down to our south and the east. So those that need the rain, well, it doesn't look like we're going to get a real good shot anytime soon. On a local scale, we're dealing with beautiful conditions tonight, tomorrow. tomorrow morning we're in the 50s and sunshine tomorrow and highs in the 70s. It doesn't get any better than that, as Jay mentioned. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. A slow climb back to the heat and humidity this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's your isolated rainfall chances. Better chance on Sunday out to have another system that'll really warm us up as we go into next week. So Jay and Betsy, we'll send it back to you guys in the dry studio.
All right. Thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate the update. We'll see you again coming up at 7. All right, tomato, tomato, potato, potato, charcuterie. Which one is it? Who cares? They're delicious. Boards are making a comeback. We learn how to make your own, plus the new twist to keep the meat and cheese tray COVID-19 friendly.
Yeah, and we get to sample, Bets.
Ooh,
I'm excited about that. Also, after suffering 2 strokes, one man worked extra hard to make this anniversary very special for his wife. Get the Kleenex, folks. You're going to need them. That's ahead in our Worth the Watch.
Don't worry, you can't talk with your mouth full. I'll take this one. If you're on Instagram, you've probably seen the flood of beautiful pictures of cheese, meat, and fruit boards filling up your feed. Well, it's called charcuterie, and we found someone who makes these as her side hustle. Here's Abby Kemmerling from Amazing Grace Charcuterie and Grazing Boards Boutique to show you how to create your own board at home.
Today, we're going to show you how to make a fabulous charcuterie tray. I always recommend starting with cheese. That seems to be the largest thing that you want on your plate, and then you can fill in from there. So we are starting with our blueberry encrusted goat cheese. It's a great complement to any board that has fruit and honey on it. A little secret to slicing is that if you pop it in the freezer for a few minutes before you're ready to cut it, it slices very nicely and it won't ruin your cutting board. Then we're going to add a beautiful piece of brie that is herbed. I did slice it this way, that way your guests can take a piece and they're not worried about trying to find a knife and slicing it. I do like to include this MANCHEGO cheese. It is a nice tangy cheese. It has a great flavor with honey. A little trick to this, you can slice it and stack it, or you can fan it out however you like and the look that you're trying to go for. Next, I will add probably some cheddar and then a white cheddar over to this side. Next, I'm going to add some olives to this tray and then some honey over on this side. So I do like to put foods together that have a nice flavor combination. So these cheeses are fabulous with the honey, so I'll add them over here. That way your guests kind of know in which direction to eat. So once you have your cheese, start filling in with your fruits. So I like to add grapes. The abundance is what really creates a very beautiful plate. Whenever I'm filling in a board, I always like to think about how it's going to look if you photograph it. So if you have any areas that look a little too dark in a photo, too many blueberries, you can always add raspberries. Those are a great way to get a pop of color in. I'm going to add my meat. So I do have small spicy Italian salami, and I also have a regular Italian salami. These are great. You can either put them out, fan them flat somewhere, or a nice little thing to do is to fold them into a fan. Once you have all of the cheese and meat and fruit that you think you want to start with, it's a good time to add some crackers. You can use any sort of cracker or bread that you like. So now that I have the majority of my board set, I like to add just a few details. So that's really what makes a board pop and kind of will make it a little bit different from every other board. I have some dried apricots. Those are nice just to place around if you see anywhere that could use some color and really looks like there's kind of an empty space and you want to fill it in. That's a great way to do it. We always add nuts to all of the boards. Those are a nice palate cleanser. You can do, these are shelled pistachios, and I just kind of toss them around. You can use any kind that you like, and of course chocolate. So you can do dark chocolate, you can do chocolate caramels, whatever you like. Those tend to do best if they're set off on the side by a fruit. These cute little cookies are a nice touch. You can kind of just lay them in. Layering is important. It really pulls out all of the colors and the flavors for a board. And then rosemary. So this is really kind of a great little way to finalize everything. They do have food safe flowers, so if you find those at your supermarket, you can always tuck one of those in, make it a nice little final touch. And there you have it. Now you have a wonderful dish to share with friends.
Well, the best way to order is to find Amazing Grays, a charcuterie and grazing board boutique on Facebook, or Amazing Grays CLE on Instagram. Again, it's Amazing Grays CLE. That's on Instagram. You do want to call ahead, and pickup is at the Willoughby General Store. So while all this has been going on, my dear co-host Jay has been grazing. You've killed that thing.
I don't know if grazing.
Is there anything left?
Even. I have been plowing. So, let me just say, Betsy, this is a little box of heaven. And it's nice because they're individual. You know, these are, so during COVID, you wouldn't want to share food off a plate. So they come in individual boxes. I don't know if you can see in there.
What's left?
Yeah, what's left. I have torn through this thing. And it's all so unbelievably good.
He's like, there's blueberries at the bottom, Bets.
Yeah. There are, and you've got strawberries and the cheese, and there's a little dip of honey here.
Here's what it looked like before Jay got a hold of it, right?
It's beautifully packaged,
it's your
right?
Little stuff on your little honey dipper, which is adorable.
Oh, is that what this was here?
It is. It's your little dressing dipper.
Oh, okay.
We love these. My daughter Josie loves these anytime, any day we had one for lunch. You don't have to be fancy with them, but if you want to impress
Josie
friends,
has
family,
great
or whomever,
taste.
this is just obviously the way to go.
Yeah, these are really good.
Okay, you do your thing, because I'm going to eat.
Okay. I will tell you that our Worth the Watch is coming up next. And Betsy, it's just such a sweet one today. What one man did to make his 63rd wedding anniversary, one that his wife won't soon forget.
Yeah. Check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone. We're here in the basement one more time. We're going to be live in the 6 o'clock show talking about.
We couldn't even say the word charcuterie in Rock Hill, Missouri, where I grew up. We didn't know what that was.
How am I going to bring it up my stairs? Hey, I can hear you. I'm Laura Queso. Tonight we're talking about school sports. Thanks. I'm going to have to.
I do. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up with our Worth the Watch. Betsy, you might need a Kleenex for this. This is true love. After 2 strokes, Joe could not remember the words to the special song that he and his wife Sharon called their own. But after a ton of hard work and therapy, he surprised her on their 63rd wedding anniversary. Watch this.
It's all that you can be.
Yeah, that is a sweet serenade. It's, of course, the song All You Can Be by Kenny Rogers. The words had left him, but through hard work, he remembered them and delivered them to his beautiful bride.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's all the time we have for you today. We're back tomorrow at 5 for another edition of What's New. We hope you join us then.
What matters